Hi guys, I'm Doritos, and today I'm going to be showing you guys some brand new 4-3-2-1 custom tactics. With these tactics so far, I've played to 11 wins in champs, I've played my qualification games for the next round, and I've done the FUT Birthday Cup games. So far with these tactics, they have not let me down once. They have been running through everyone. These tactics really lend themselves to a passing game, lots of 1-2s, lots of runners in the attack. It just plays so fluid. This 4-3-2-1 setup is completely new. It's not the Footwiz Ethan approach with the overlapping wing back, the 4-4-2 defensive style in the midfield. These are a completely new set of custom tactics to give the 4-3-2-1 a completely different look for your opponents. One thing I will say before we get into the tactics is if you don't have a very good team, you're kind of just using mainly gold rare players at the moment, I wouldn't recommend using these tactics, purely because this formation really utilises your players' attacking AI. So if you haven't got very good players, it's not really going to move how it should for you. However, I know most of you guys have way better teams than mine at this point, so we'll get right into them. Getting into the base tactics for this formation, I'll go through this quite quick because these are all pretty standard setups. Defensive style balanced, we don't need to mess with any of these, just go to constant pressure if you're down and out. Width 35, this is narrow but it is very compact. It just stops any of the cheesy through balls through the middle. If you do get attacked out wide, you've still got enough time to pull your wing backs out and intercept, so that's not an issue. Depth 72, this is just a sweet spot for getting the automatic offside traps. I've quite liked it with this formation, despite going off it in others, but 72 depth is spot on for this setup. Build-up play, just leave that unbalanced. Some people use fast build-up, but it's not for me. Balance is the way to go. Chance creation, we're just going to run with direct passing as always. This is pretty staple at this point. Width 45, this is quite a narrow formation anyway in its nature, so we just want to bring them in just a little bit more, which really helps with those 1-2 passes and moving the ball about quicker in the midfield. Players in the box, this is going to be on 6. I'd normally have this anywhere between 4 and 6. For this setup, because we're not going to be going crazy with committing defenders forward, we can up this stat up a little bit more, up to the 6 mark. Corners and free kicks, this is complete personal preference. I would never say go any higher than 3, but if you hate getting countered, put it down to 1. I currently have quite a nice corner tactic on 2, so I just leave both of these on 2 for now. Player instructions. Okay, so this is going to seem a little bit odd at first, but I'll explain the logic to it as we go. So for your front 3, they are all going to be on default. We're not going to put anything on these. Ordinarily, you'd see people put like getting behind, stay central, these sorts of instructions on these players. However, if you have players with good attacking AI, good work rates, having a front 3 where they're just left to play as the card is, true to their stats and their animations, there's just something about it where they move so well. Believe me, you're not going to get people not making runs with this on default. It's just something I've tried and it just seems to work really well. Another thing that I've noticed with having these on default is the angle they tend to run at seems to be right on the wing back shoulder. So if you use the player lock to then drift them inside, you get in behind the centre back and the wing back so easily with this. Just where they make the run just lends itself to play lock, bring them inside, and it's super effective. For your left centre mid and your right centre mid, these are both going to be unbalanced. With these unbalanced, they seem to really get involved in the attack, and I really like it because they seem to sit in those gaps between your left winger and your right winger, and you kind of get this line of 5, so they get into lots of positions to shoot in and around the box. With these getting so involved in the attack, it enables you to always have that nice, quick, short passing option to work the ball inside and get shooting opportunities. For your central midfielder, the man right in the middle, they're going to be on stay back while attacking and cover centre. The stay back cover centre instruction enables them to sit in the hole, be the man that's the pivot in the midfield, and generally you're always going to be distributing the ball out to either one of the other centre mids, which naturally sit a little bit further forward. For your left back and also your right back, they're both going to be on stay back while attacking and overlap. Because we've got the players in the box up to 6 and both of these centre mids unbalanced, committing forward. Ideally, we don't want the wing backs going forward as well because we're going to have too many numbers up then and we're going to be very exposed on the counter attack. However, the overlap instruction with the stay back, they do support when necessary and give you that extra passing option out wide to create overlaps. It's not something though where they're going to commit right into the final third. They're always going to be in a position where they can retreat and cover you on the counter attack. both your centre-backs, balanced as always, same with the goalkeeper. Getting into the types of players that work for this formation, now this is going to be more important than it normally is because I think preference becomes less of a thing with this formation. There are certain things that you need to have in order for it to work. So starting with the striker position, you absolutely need someone that's extremely consistent in this position. Now, I admittedly have swapped Cantona and Cruyff around a lot. I'm still trying to decide which way round I prefer them. Sometimes I have Cruyff up top because he's 5-star, 5-star, so he's good on either foot. He's very nimble. He just has excellent animations and he's a full meta player. But also, on the other hand, Cantona is just very consistent for me and he's the bigger man, so it kind of, in my head, makes sense to have the two smaller guys off of him. But the main thing to bear in mind here is your striker needs to be consistent, someone that scores pretty much every chance that falls into their lap. Above all and beyond all, your striker just needs to be someone very high calibre, an Mbappe, a Cruyff. I personally get on with Cantona, someone that is just very full meta in that position. For your left sort of forward and right forward, the main thing I would add here is left foot on the left, right foot on the right. Now I know I've kind of made it a bit of a joke on this channel talking about Travellas, but that is one of the reasons. But mainly, your left forward is always going to be in position to shoot 90% of the time on his left foot. Right footer, the same again. They're generally going to always be on their right foot on their chances. So for that to be their preferable foot, just makes sense. For your left centre mid, ideally this is going to be your most capable on the passing, someone very nimble, like a true centre attacking mid. I always kind of use the analogy for this position as like a Bernardo Silva type player, someone that's kind of got that leaner body type that turns very quickly, that if you're the sort of person that twiddles the left stick all the time, that they're going to be very responsive to that. But also, passing traits are actually very effective in this position. Fabio Vieira has like the swerve pass and the flare pass, those kinds of traits, and it seems to really work wonders for pinging those runners in first time. To summarise on that position, just someone very nimble, turns very quick, and has the capability to pick the right pass. For your right centre mid, this really does need to be like a Hullet club kind of player, which basically means at least like 80 plus on every stat. Mateus is a high work rate player, again what you want. Someone that has also the ability to hit a pass very well, because essentially Vieira and Mateus are doing the same thing. I just have one slightly more attacking orientated than the other, just to provide a bit more of a dynamic in the midfield. But Mateus is who I've gone for here. Hullet would be the perfect player for this position. Essentially, you need a dual player here, but they still need to be able to finish. They still need to be able to defend. Ideally, high work rates and excellent stamina as well. Okay, so now this is the most important position on the pitch for this setup. For your centre mid, the man right in the middle, they need to be very big. They need to have phenomenal defensive AI. So that basically just means they have that stickiness, that magnet-esque tackling in the midfield where it just feels like the attacker can't get you off of them. I would say there are 2 or 3 players that are good enough to fill this position. Patrick Vieira is one of them. The Fofana Team of the Year honourable mentions card is honestly a close second, and potentially one of the better versions of Kante would work. Now, I personally like a bigger player in this position. I haven't tried it with a smaller person, so don't hold me to Kante, but I feel like he would do a job in this position as well. The reason it's so important that this person is just like the perfect DM is that the other 2 midfielders are committing forward more. On the counter-attack, you've got your defensive 4 and essentially your DM. You haven't got that midfield pairing where if one kind of misses, the other one covers. You are really relying on this player to cover any sort of passing lanes in the midfield, to cut up the player on the counter-attack. They really need to be a unit and someone that really breaks up and dictates the run of play. Vieira for me is the best at this because he reacts so fast, even if you're not controlling him. So you just win the ball high up the pitch from his aggression, and then you distribute the ball out and you capitalise on that turn of possession and score a goal. Moving into your left back and right back, generally my kind of approach on this doesn't change regardless of the formation. So if you've seen my videos before, you'll know exactly what I'm going to say here. But controlled or lengthy running style, mainly just because when you're chasing wingers who are often explosive, you beat them over the longer distances because of that running style. So you get the beating on them on those like long runs on the wings, and you're able to intercept the ball and win it back. Other than that, just good passing, so they're making a safe distributive pass to the centre midfielder or the winger making a run further down the line. For your centre-backs, you just want players that preferably have the lengthy running style, have great defensive AI, are very fast, and players that transition very quickly as well. So that's when you're doing your trigger jockey, they tend to almost look like they're on ice. If you see a player move like that, then that really helps as well with those people that have those snappy wingers. As for your goalkeeper, as always, whoever works. My best advice with using this setup, because it is definitely a different feel to the 4-3-2 that a lot of people are using at the moment, is the key is to try and get the ball to your left or right forward as quickly as possible. And then once you've got the ball with them, what you want to be doing is dropping it back to the likes of, in my case, Fabio Vieira or Lothar Matthäus, getting them on the run, playing one or two passes and then trying to feed in the runner with a first time pass. That is kind of like the 101 of how this setup works. It really, really benefits from having really good players in those positions with the balanced instructions. The better your card's attacking AI, the better this formation works. Thank you for making it this far. If you did, guys, let me know what you think of the custom tactics and how you get on with them. If you have any formations you want me to check out, just let me know down below. I'll be more than happy to check it out. In the previous video, we did actually have someone suggest a 4-1-4-1 formation. I'm still toying around with that one, seeing if I can get anything good together. I'm also putting together some 3-5-2 custom tactics as well, so keep your eye out for those. If you did enjoy the video, please subscribe to the channel and turn your bell on. Take care, guys.